Hello and welcome to the next video in the Project Maelstrom Productions My Thoughts on Video Series. I'm Joseph Landershina, aka JJ Maelstrom, and you know what I'm celebrating? It's June, yay! We get summer and the warmth that comes with it, and the flowers and the green stuff too. But more importantly, it's my birthday month. Yay! I'm 30 years old. So, one thing that I like to get that normal people don't get on their birthdays is summer vacation. So, everybody who is born in June doesn't get to have, classroom birthday parties or stuff like that, cupcakes, or whatever, what have you, at their parties during school time. But we juniors, we get our cakes off with summer vacation as being our birthday gift from the school. Now, I gotta admit, this is a pretty cool little perk to having your birthday in June. But, unfortunately, it didn't work out so well for me when I was in the 12th grade. You see, because in the 12th grade, my my English exam, for the Regents exam, fell on that day, so I got a lovely Regents test for my birthday, even though I asked Mr. D, that was my teacher at the time, for an A+ on it. Unfortunately, I think I got like an A- or a B+, something like that on the test itself. So, haha. Even the teacher didn't like me for that day. Poor me. So, I thought to myself, what can I discuss? The 30 years old, and it was made during that year, and that I actually like from the 80s. Let's see here. This science fiction trilogy, the Back to the Future trilogy, is the best science fiction trilogy out there. So you Star Wars fans can suck it. Even though now it really doesn't count for that because there are, I don't know what the term is for 6 OG movie series, but when this trilogy came out, there was only one, trilogy, so, to all you Star Wars fans. Now, there's a reason why I don't put my address in here, because otherwise, every Star Wars fan would probably be pissed off and angry at me, so I decided to, let you guys simmer, not send me hate mail or anything else that's negative. But why, of all the science fiction movies and trilogies and stuff, do I consider this to be the best? Well, let's see here. It's not just because it was made in 85 like me, but because it was actually a good thing that came from the 80s. You always hear horror stories about hair, cars, makeup, clothing, and other things that were just horrible and loud and all over the place as far as style goes. So this is one of the few things from the 80s that was actually decent and fun to boot. The acting in these movies is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a work of wonder in art. It's pitch perfect, if you will. The soundtrack on these movies, excellent, perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better. And the quote unquote triumph music when somebody does something well in the movie or good is always a treat to listen to. The special effects were also pretty good too. You know, like when the DeLorean reaches 80 miles an hour and goes into its time travel mode. It's actually pretty cool. And yes, the effects do hold up today. I think doesn't handle it, so in my opinion. If you agree with it, that's fine. If you don't agree with it, that's fine too. Also, for those who are born in year, I'm going to say 2000, it's also a very good look at technology from both the 1885 technology as well as 1955 technology. And then in part number 3, you see a lot of historical technologies like trains, locomotives, horse and cattle, lassos, things you would see in a western movie or cartoon or whatever, what have you. But also, another thing that these movies aren't really known for, the comedy. Comedy is actually pretty cool in this movie. In these movies, I mean. For example, I have a joke about Christ's birthday, being 0008 AD on December 25th, which is actually kind of funny, even though, we don't actually have a date for Christ's birthday. It just goes by the Julian calendar. And then we have a running joke that said that all Biffs, that's a character in the movie, a bullet character actually, always finds himself in shit in the end of every movie. And that also goes for his relatives as well. And it's a very good anti-bullying message because it shows that those who partake in bullying will end up with shit on their face. That's neither here nor there. I'm sure there are people that grow up and become good people after bullying and stuff. But but that's a different issue altogether. Okay. Now, there's also a similar wake up sequence to Marty McFly, as well as family shots of the family McFly. I find this funny. Also, Biff's gang, there are 3 people in the gang, always, and I would just find it funny. I would crack up at that they always are yes men and a woman to him. And he also uses, Marty McFly also uses the same distraction technique to fool Biff's family members and whatnot. The whole, look over there! And he punches him in the face or knocks him down. So it's a good trick. Now, whether it works is a different story altogether. Also, a point of comedy is the fact that all of the relatives in the movies look very similar. I'm sure you can put on each makeup or mustache and beard, and sure, it's funny that way too. But they seem very, very similar, almost upon being uh, brothers or sisters and whatnot. The characters are also very funny, and they're very long-lasting and endearing. For example, we have Marty McFly, played by the legendary Michael J. Fox. He's like it's supposed to be like an average teen that that stands up for what's right, and also, he also, um, has a girlfriend who becomes his wife in the future, something like that. Spoiler here. So he's pretty fun that way too. With Tennant, Thomas F. Wilson only played this role to be a message to people for anti-bullying, not bullying at all. And I think he pulls off great because Biff Tannen in the movies is very unintelligent, very stupid, and just a general horrible person. He's also about as ugly and as smart as a mule, where he's big and strong. So I don't know if that's a stereotype or not, but I think it works very well. The bullying is no good, as Sonic would say. Now, for Dr. Emmett Brown is played by Christopher Lloyd, and he is a stereotypical scientist, genius, Einstein type character. He designed off of Einstein, and let me tell you something. He is born for this role. You know, he had started in a few movie roles, but this is the one role that you think of when you think of him. Okay, when I think of him anyway, he's that good in the movie, and he's funny, he's smart, he's very comical and stuff. But I gotta say, he's well known in the movie. But for me, the best thing about him is that he makes incredible facial expressions, as well as his various sayings, like Great Scott, or as somebody would say, Great Scott! I can't do that impression, but, and then we have Mr. Strickland, which is the principal of the school that my McFly does. Now, Mr. Strickland is, a hard ass, but I find him to be funny in a way, because it's always a stereotypical hard ass. Much like you would see Miss Bellbreaker in Revenge of the Nerds. Another good movie from the 80s, which I might cover eventually, but that's beside the point. That's for a future video later on, no pun intended. Now, I should probably tell you that this is the first movie that introduced me to the term of time travel. When I was younger, I had no idea what time travel was. This is the first actual media that incorporates it into storyline. It works pretty well with a few plot holes. Now, if you don't analyze it, you will have a fun time with it. But because I analyzed it, well, I'll get into later on. Now, oh yeah, I almost forgot. Mr. Strickland also is portrayed as a sheriff and hillbilly in part 3, the Western, which kind of makes sense a little bit because he's lawman, strict and all that. In the current timeline of 1985. Now, like I said, this is my first time travel media. Now, I have to ask one thing here, okay? I'm gonna ask this to the audience members who are watching this video right now. Now, I know that there's a rule that says that you can't change the past. It's written in stone, so you can't change it. Now, I have to ask you this question. Are you able to insert yourself into the future? Because we don't know the future. We don't know what it holds. We don't know what our destinies are. So, to a casual observer or the time traveler, it's anything can happen. So they don't know what the past or the future events are of whatever time they're going into. That's gonna be one of the ideas I tackle in my book, in my future book, which I've been taking a little break from. Okay. Now, probably the most memorable thing in this movie, besides the brilliant actors and comedy and stuff like that, which the actors have gone on and have been known from other works like King Wolf, Taxi, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and among other things, but probably the most memorable thing in this movie is the most awesome use of a DeLorean, the time machine. This car is freaking amazing. I have a Hot Wheels car, but I don't know where it is right now. And the the car itself is 100% awesome. You dream of awesome stuff like this. This car is 100 flavors of awesomeness. Which is really weird because I think that they must have a contract with DMC, the people that make the car, or they knew how below average the car was, so they decided to incorporate it into the movie to boost its popularity. Either way, it's an awesome movie car. And the best use of the DeLorean model. Yes, and use a technobabble explanation to explain to the audience, why DeLorean car is used to achieve time travel. I think it has something to do with the stainless steel design, but still, it's still an awesome car. But also, I think that the writers and director and stuff, they went for the DeLorean because it looks like a science fiction UFO type vehicle. So, for those of you who can't tell the actual difference between this iconic vehicle and what a stock DeLorean actually looks like, here is a clip from one of my games that features an actual DeLorean car. And now, without further ado, let's go back to 1985. In 1985, the listeners were expecting a bundle of joy. Oh, I'm sorry, did you expect me to talk about these movies? Nah, I was just thinking about showing you this picture for the rest of the video. Now I would do that to you. So on with the rest of the video on discussing the Back to the Future movies, starting with the number one 1985 classic, Back to the Future. So the movie begins with Marty McFly waking up and going and traveling back in time to 1955 by complete accident. See, he was chased by a bunch of Libyans who apparently can't aim properly, and I think that this may be like a direct step toward terrorists being Muslim and all that, but this was way before that happened, so I guess it might be just circumstance that they are Libyans and terrorists, and I guess Muslims as well too. So in the process of going back in time, Marty accidentally meets his young parents, and he disrupts how they are supposed to meet from when he was told a dozen times by his mother how they met. And apparently his mother falls in love with him, but not knowing anything about the religion in the future. So I guess that she's a MILF. I mean, she does look pretty cute and everything in the 50s, in the nifty 50s, if you will. But this also brings up the paradox of the grandfather paradox. Now, for those of you who are not used to this term, the grandfather paradox said that someone goes back in time, kills the grandfather, and marries the grandmother, therefore being related to themselves and giving rights to themselves to go back in time, and then the whole thing repeats itself. But in its case, to be the father paradox, because it's not his grandfather that he messes with, it's his father. So I guess that would mean that he's his own dad too, in the universe continuity, if you will. But this time machine apparently runs on plutonium, which is why the Libyans were after him in the first place. But he has no extra plutonium to go back to the future with, so he's got to use lightning. He did generate 1.29 gigawatts, which is actually a mispronunciation of the word gigawatts, to, you know, get up to 80 miles an hour and then go back to the future. Now, also, one of the things that's important to these movies, the information about the future events can be extremely dangerous and very hazardous to the space-time continuum, which I don't want to get into, but I'll get more into the plot holes of the movie in a different video altogether, because there's a hell of a lot of them. Now, we try to reunite the the family the way it's supposed to be according to Mari's mother's story in the future. So now there's a very creepy and very weird uh scene in the movie where they go into like a high school dance where the parents are supposed to kiss for the first time, but for some strange reason when Lorraine, that's the mother's name, kisses Marty McFly, she said that it's like kissing her brother. Now I don't know if in the movie she has a brother, but yeah, I just find it very weird that they would have a family relation thing before they're actually family members. I don't understand how that works out, but that's not for me to decide. It's director, producer, and all that stuff too. Anyway, now during the dance scene, you know, they're supposed to set up a chain of events that lead Maury to be, his parents to be set right and kissed and all that and date and stuff like that. So, in the movie, young Biff appears at the dance and takes Maury's place through force and punching and like that. And he originally had an agreement with George to come to the dance and take him out and all that. And then, lo and behold, it's Biff that's assaulting his mother. So, what happens is, he gives him a nice falcon punch to the face, and thereby rescuing Lorraine, and thereby going, starting the event that lead to, Maury's birth and all that stuff, and marriage and all that stuff. So that's how that works. Now, the next part is by far the best part in the movie. One of the best parts in the movie, and the most iconic part, I think, besides the time travel scenes. And that is the part that is what I consider the best musical number performed by anybody who's a non-musician in a movie. And because it's a video that's gonna be celebrating my birthday and my birthday month, I will show the clip because I have to be a little bit greedy on my birthday, right? So here it is, the best musical number done by a non-musician in a movie.
Country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
Now, I have a question too about that. Is that very Michael J. Fox's voice? I believe that he, did all the dizzy and all the guitar playing and stuff, but was it very him doing it? I mean, if it was brilliant. I'm just curious. Now, even though the other band members have never heard the song before, and never heard this style of music before, how in the world were they able to keep up with him? Doing his rock and roll. Okay, now, by Biff getting floored by George, that's his father, George McFly, that's Marty's father's name. He also, Biff becomes submissive, which I have to question about that too, but I'll do it later on in the poll, in the poll section. Anyway, he restores time, making his parents fall back in love again. Now, right after the dance, it's a race to go back to the future to 1980. That's 30 years into the future. So, he's very lucky that this lightning plane worked, because otherwise it would just stink, and it would just go down in history as being bad. But he used the exact time for he used the knowledge of the exact time it would strike to do it, to attempt it. Now, also there's also drama and precise calculation and timing to go on to the lightning, to make a connection with this lightning strike to get to 80 miles an hour. I'll get into later on. It also reflects on the fact that the car is a below average vehicle, and it stalls out twice. For those of you who own a DeLorean or have ever owned a DeLorean, I sympathize with you. Unless you keep it in mint condition. And also, I should tell you that Marty created a good future for himself. And I'll give you a point on the test if you know what reference that is, from what game that reference is. Then we have sequel bait, which leads to, which leads to the line where we're going, we don't need roads. And then he pulls down his visor or his glasses. That's from his future of exploits. Some notes on this film that I took while watching it. It's got an accurate time travel perspective. When you speed up and it beam you're there in the past. Now, we have never been able to do this, but I'm pretty sure that if we were to be able to travel in time, that would be how it would go down. I also like the fact that even though there are a lot of plot holes in this movie, they cover it in a one universe type manner. meaning that you can change the past and future events. For example, like Dragon Ball Z introduced multiverses, which involves time travel but to different timelines and different events, universe of events. For example, one character named Trunks goes back in time to change the past, but he just changed the past in one universe where it could happen, and it didn't affect his own universe. It's not for him though. It'd be just like if you want to go back in time and stop the man John F. Kennedy. You could do it, but it would probably only affect that universe. It wouldn't affect now my universe because he's already gone and passed on and stuff like that because of him. Because of sniper shots. But one very important key to this whole movie franchise, the time travel aspect, it is possible to time travel. You know, we just haven't figured out how to do it yet. And we probably won't be able to do it for later to come. But the physics do allow for it to happen. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. Now, there are ways to do this. Ways to go at time travel speed. Number one is light speed. Now, I'm not sure about the precise method to do this, but I'm pretty sure that it's a tad, just a little bit faster than 80 miles an hour. I'm just sure about that. Actually, the precise speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. Okay, that's the ultimate speed limit to anything. We physically can't go that fast. The only thing that can go that fast is energy and possibly particles. Well, that's too much over my head. I can't do precise, light speed travel and advanced physics and all that. But it is possible that way. Another possible way is to use a black hole. But again, you get too close to it, you get sucked in it, and then bad things happen to you. That's all I go for that. My only question is, if a black hole has enough power to kill you, how are you going to time travel into it if you go into the black hole past the event horizon? But that's for another discussion for more professional advanced people than me. Also, wormhole. Now, even though you're technically not going faster than the speed of light in that event, you still, you go through, you cheat pretty much. You take a shortcut through the entire universe. You think of the universe as a big sphere, big ball. You draw a hole through a ball, and that's a wormhole. You go to the outside. You go to a different part in the universe, so therefore you cheat. It takes like a set amount of time to get around it, but you just can't. You get faster than the light when you start at point A, but the fact is that when you get to point B, you actually beat the light over there. And we can't do this yet. I'm sorry, but we can't. And that involves physics and energy levels that no one can even begin to comprehend at the Big Bang, energy, which is very much unattainable. Anyway, now for the magic number of 88 miles an hour. Now, the people who made the movie said, that 88 miles an hour is the speed that you have to go at to reach time travel speed, because there's a very simple explanation for that, and that is that 88 was simply just the highest speed limit on the dial of the speed speedometer for a DeLorean, main DeLorean. So that's that. When you see in the movie that the speedometer will be on 88 miles an hour, that's simply just some other car replacement speedometer for it. That's not the real speedometer. I believe that they also placed an hubcap on it as well. Now, onto the visual effect of the actual car itself. I believe that that the sound effects that the car makes when it goes in time sounds like Tom yell in the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. It also sounds like the sound the liquor makes when it dies in the Resident Evil movie, which I hear is bad, so I'm not gonna play clip from that because I don't want any more hate mail directed toward me. But here's the sound effect from Tom Yell, and let's see what you guys think if you guys hear the same thing that I hear.
Burning. Say, something is burning around here.
Now, in the movie, you have a picture that's supposed to represent Maury's his timeline being ruined or restored. Now, it's also meaning that it's instant death for himself if he fades away into nothingness, if he fails his objective. Now, I have to question, why do his siblings disappear in the picture, and he disappears all at once? His brother and sister disappear also, by thirds or halves or whatever the case is, but he disappears at once. Why is that? Also, this movie was meant to stand alone. It was, it was good, it was beautiful, it was perfect, the whole time travel thing was great. They decided to make us more of them because they were, because of its success, and they want to make more money. And you know how people, they have to make more money and stuff and get richer and more famous and all that stuff. Which I agree, they did do a very good job with that. But along with many other movies, sequels and stuff, and prequels, they kind of screw up the storyline a lot, with a lot more plot holes and things. Some of them that I noticed that they changed the history and timeline of the movie is, number one, Goldie, I think it was Wilson or Brown, one of the two, and he gets his idea for becoming mayor by Marty McFly. Number two, his parents meeting, George almost gets run over by a car. Number three, George almost gets run over by a car, but then Marty jumps in, so it kind of disrupts his history with his parents and all that. Plus, he takes the name of Calvin Klein. He meets Doug Brown for the first time in 1955, which shouldn't have happened. It's not said when he actually meets him, but it should be in 1955. More interacting with Biff, more interact with Biff, and for some reason, Biff forgets all about him. Why? In the 30s. I think I remember if I saw someone 30 years ago. And then again, 30 years later, Maury's death note to Doc Brown about how he is murdered in the future by the Libyans. Now, George's Falcon Punch knocked Biff out. I don't think it's even possible to knock someone out with one hit. But he does it. And he becomes a submissive person in the show. In the movie, I mean. Biff does, I mean. Okay? Johnny B. Good's origin. Now, we all seen that the ultimate of Johnny B. Good. Unfortunately, though, Chuck Berry was, listening on the phone to it. So, there was a little bit of an error with that, with changing history. Did Johnny B. Good get created by Marty McFly, or did it get created by Chuck Berry? We'll never know in this universe. Of course it was created by Chuck Berry in real life, but it's funny the way it works out in this parenting advice. Right after Marty McFly does the song and dance number, it he gives advice on what would happen if something happens with himself in the future as a baby or as a young kid. And that kind of screwed up timeline just a little bit. Okay, now, Dr. Emmett Brown gets shot in the very beginning of the movie, but they're very clever on the showing blood there. So, was it destiny for him to wear a bubble vest, or was it destiny for wanting to go back in time? That's kind of, and then save his life, of course. That's kind of confusing a little bit. And then we have George's sci-fi book and his success story, which is not really explained how he became successful without Biff and all that, and keep him dead and stuff. I mean, Biff was a completely taking his ideas and making them on his own and stuff like that. Keeping George down and stuff. But in the end, it kind of like a white lie and make himself better. Then, 4 years later, another movie came out, Back to the Future Part 2 or 2. And trend. Okay, Marty goes into the future with his girlfriend Jennifer and Doc Brown. Now, if you didn't know that these movies were made with that Steven Spielberg was involved in these movies, you will know now, because there is a Jaws cameo in this movie. 3D shark attacks Marty. And I admit that the effects are kind of stupid and cheesy, but they do kind of look like what we see now in 3D movies nowadays. But that's neither here nor there. By the way, they go into the future, into the year 2015. Sounds familiar? It should, because it is this year that I'm making this video. It changes the destiny of its son in a positive way by making sure that he doesn't do a crime, and he instead passes the buck on to Biff's grandson named Griff Cannon, which is played by the same actor. And then he ends up going to jail because he smashes up a City Hall by mistake. And then Marty comes up with this brilliant idea to get a sports almanac from the time period from this year, and then go back in time and make a few bucks on sporting events. Which is a very good idea, and I wish I could do it. I wish I could go back a week ago with the win lottery numbers and, win a couple $100 million. And then we could buy my own DeLorean time machine and then go back in time and all this other stuff. But that's neither here nor there. But Doc said to throw it away, so he does like an idiot. He throws away the sports almanac. And then you also see old Biff and be Biff from the timeline, who is still a bitter old man who hates Marty and Doc and every it seems like he hates everybody. He finds out about the DeLorean, and then finds out about the time machine, because it's the only old car that flies and stuff. And he goes back to time with the sports almanac, and then he altered the timeline, the 1985 timeline, where now he's rich and powerful, because in 55 he received the almanac and got rich being on sporting events. Sound kind of familiar? Well, it is familiar. And now he's a casino owner, and now he's rich and powerful and corrupt and a lot of stuff too. So now Hill Valley has become a ghetto, and it's become pretty much a war zone between rival gangs and other people as well. So Biff also kills George and marries Lorraine. So Biff is now related to Marty McFly, which is a big shock to him. And a very unpleasant shock at that. And this is the ultimate timeline which is like ah from the whole movies. Now, Doug Brown and Maury don't like this at all because everything changed, everything is bad and corrupt and all that other stuff. Even Pencil Strickland is attacked and whatnot. Now, they decide to go back to whenever Obiff gave the almanac to his younger self and destroy his timeline where he becomes rich and powerful. Now, this covers, I think, like the second half of the movie, and I think that it's a retread of the first movie. But Mike and Doc are better prepared for this series of events. Now, I do like the fact that they took time to cover Biff's backstory a little bit and his characterization, and the fact that he lives with his mom and he's an asshole to kids and all of that other stuff too. But, do we really have to focus so much on Biff being a jerk? I mean, we all know that he's an ass, and we all know that Thomas Wilson does a wonderful job in portraying it as that vocal anti-bullying message, but we will have to see it. I mean, I did appreciate all the scenes that were left out of the first movie, but I didn't like the fact that it was just so much focus on Biff and his younger self. No, they had to do that. They had to give the almanac without interrupting the events that were in the first movie, because if they interrupted the first movie events, bad things would happen. I don't know what would happen, but it'd be bad. Just plain bad. Okay, now, they actually do succeed in getting the almanac back, and Biff runs again into a Manila truck. After he gets some pain for it the first time from the first movie, and they burn it. They burn up the almanac. Thank goodness. Now, the DeLorean, while flying, gets struck by lightning and gets sent back into a random time period, which is also in the sequel. Now, I'll admit, I did, when I first watched the teaser, I didn't get the references and stuff, but they played the movie Fistful of Dollars in like me with Clint Eastwood in the background of Biff's Casino. Now, that will play a big part in the next movie, part 3 of this. Now, that's what I call sequel bait, because this movie and number 3 were made at the same time. Again, because of the success of the first movie. So, past the younger version of Doug Brown sees himself, or sees Marty, and then he faints again because he thought he sent him to the future. But he didn't. He faints. Now, there were a lot of people that were pissed off at this movie. saying that, it lied to us and all that stuff. All the cool stuff that was in this movie was not in the year 2015. That was actually in the movie 2015. In the movie version of 2015. Number one, no hoverboards, even though that would have been cool. Number two, no tiny shoes, although the origami and the hoverboards. And number three, no big clothes, no drying either. Number four, no super cooking, and no advanced food trays. Again, the movie, although I don't know when the microwave came out, but it was pretty close to what they were portraying in the movie. Although, eating pizza like this, making it a full-size pizza, that's kinda nice. No self-serving gas stations. Boo-hoo. No weather service or weather control. Now, we have artificial weather in the movie, so unfortunately we don't have that in real life. I wish we did, but we don't. I would wish for every day to be sunny. No rejuvenation masks or blood transfusions or anything like that to make it something more beautiful. We do have like we do have rejuvenation techniques, but not that way in the movie. And there was no Laura abolishment. I don't know why people hate Laura so much, but they do in the movies. And the biggest insult to everyone everywhere is no flying cars. I don't want my flying car, god damn it. I want it now. I want my Jetsons car, I want my flying DeLorean. I want everything to be up in the air. I know that they're technically a flying car, but they require airplane licenses and pilot licenses. And I just can't do that. Okay, now, I find part 2 of this series to be like the black sheep. I didn't watch too much. And the reason for that is very simple. It's too complicated. There's too much going on. My brain aren't watching it and trying to analyze it. Number 2, it was a clusterfuck. I mean, really, it was hard to follow. And the concern goes from changing history and the past to changing destiny and fighting destiny, which can the heroes do what they do to change the history and make themselves better in the future. And there's also no platoon needed, which is kind of good, but I think that it was kind of good that there's no platoon needed. Plus, the good little send off to Mr. Coffee by Mr. Fusion. That's what they call it. I know how it works, but it uses the garbage that we produce every day to make the 1.21 gigawatts necessary. Also, a minor note here. Michael J. Fox play both of its kids, Marlene and Mark Jr., in the future, which goes to prove that he's better than most when it comes to acting. There were two Jennifer actresses, two people who played the character Jennifer. I don't know what the reason is, but it was still pretty cool. And I already mentioned that they made the second and third movies at the same time. Because they I guess they like to do that. I guess that was the thing they did with the Back to the Future Trilogy, and they did it with Lord of the Rings too. I don't know about any other movies, but I'll get to the Lord of the Rings when I get to it eventually. There's also some very interesting East commentary about how loud and how mixed up the Sutter was over there in the 80s. And I also noticed that there's a character called Needles in the movie. Like, apparently, Marty McFly and this guy Needles were friends for a long time. And his name is Michael Balzeri, named Flea. Also, he's in the band, the rock band, Red Hot Chili Peppers, as one of the major players, and he also is a co-founder of the band too, and the composer too for it. So yay for that, for me for knowing that, yay. Okay, it accurately predicted video game play, meaning that you're gonna be able to use your hands, and motion and stuff like that, in VR, virtual reality and stuff like that. Now, if you saw part 1, you see that there's a bomb in there. He makes a return in part 2. And a little tidbit in there. The only old-fashioned car, I guess, from the 80s is the DeLorean. And that's the only one that can fly. And I got a question. Why is Biff the only one that knows this? Like I said, I've seen the seeds for a sequel in this movie, which are the Fistful of Dollars, and also they show shots from the Old West that will be shown in part 3 of this movie series. And now for the time period that the history and the destiny that they changed. They changed the fate of several people in 2015, like Griff's gang, Old Biff, Marty and Marlene McFly. And they also change a bunch of people. They also get jobs for working on the new reconstruction City Hall. And the newspaper changed it too. Because that's the thing now in these movies. Something changes. Some kind of picture or photograph or newspaper changes. And they find out about future events. When Jennifer shows, they do different events and stuff. Next one is the Almanac, which is destroyed, thank goodness. Going back to the past with knowledge of future events is quite dangerous and can alter a timeline too. Okay. Why doesn't everyone die like when the timeline shifts like old Biff did? Now in the movie they don't explicitly say that that's why he died. But they show him like grabbing his chest like he's having a heart attack, or or maybe just having a heart attack and that's it. But they don't explicitly say that he died from that. It's a very big possibility that he died because he erased himself from the history, which raises a lot of the holes, but I'll talk about that in the other video. Back to the Future Part 3 continues the story along from Back to the Future Part 2. Now, the Dr. Emmett Brown finds Marty McFly, from the future back in the past for a second time, and he faints. And then they both go back to his house where he reveals that the doctor left a letter explaining that he's in the Old West in 1885, 100 years from the previous movies. So, so he wants Marty to go back to the future to live a rest of his life while Doug Brown lives in the Old West doing horses and, living in his childhood dreams. So, without any time machine, they have to go to an old abandoned mine and find the DeLorean time machine that sent Doc back to the past. Now, during their excavation of the time machine in the mine, Marty utters the best quote that I've ever heard in a movie or film or anywhere about Japan.
What do you mean, Doc? All the best stuff is made in Japan.
You see, I agree with that 100%. Everything that's good and pure comes from Japan. There's nothing else that I can say about Japan other than all the best stuff comes from Japan. Now, immediately after they dig up the DeLorean, Mike discovers that a tombstone with Doc's name written on it. So he decides to look him up in the library, in the archives. So he finds out that Doc was killed by Buford Tannen, Biff's ancestor. So he decides to go back to the past so that Doc has a future. Now, we are now introduced to the new DeLorean with a classic flavor to it. The only reason why I say classic is because it's got tires, of a classic car. But I would accept retro because with the replacement parts that the younger Doc puts on the DeLorean, it looks a lot like a retro type game system or some kind of retro technology. So either work, I would accept both. Now I'm gonna put the picture of that right here. You would never believe how hard that was to find, because like I only found like 2 or 3 pictures of the online. Everything else is like the DeLorean, like flying car, just regular. Anyway, he goes back in time and he finds some Navajo Indians that are on the run from the cavalry. So naturally, he's gonna go in reverse and hide the DeLorean, or some big time paradox will happen if the people of the Old West see an old, a car, an automobile. Unfortunately, he runs into a bear and he finds out that his fuel line has been punctured. So he runs away on foot as the bear takes his boots away from him, and he meets his relatives, played by Michael J. Fox and Leah Thompson. Now these two do this excellently because the two of them have an Irish accent to play the ancestors of, Marty and George and Lorraine and all that. Although I do have to complain about the family resemblance a little bit because it's supposed to be the ancestors of our main heroes, and they look very similar to what somebody relate to them, being Lorraine McFly. He didn't look a little bit like that. Oh, just me. Maybe we're genetically disposed to marry someone that reminds us of our mother or our grandmother or something like that. But I'll talk about something more in my Puzzles video. But good job on the accents, guys. I don't know if it was typical or racist or whatever, but good job with that. Um, they figured out since the the DeLorean can't reach 88 miles an hour on its own power, and they can't pull it to the speed that they need to go to activate time circuits and all that. They have to push it using a locomotive from the time period. Now, during this time of, thinking and discovery, a school teacher is in serious trouble when a horse gets spooked, and then they run out of control pretty much. So Doug has to save her from falling to her death on a cliff. And it changes history, but I'll get to it a little bit later. And he falls madly in love with her by saving her. Her name is Clark Clayton, by the way. Another good actress, and it plays its role to a T. So then they figured that the next available train to that place, Hill Valley, would be sometime later on, you know, uh, the day that the dog gets supposed to die in the newspaper, or according to the paper. But in between then, he goes to one of I don't know what you call it, a hootenanny, a dance where you were introduced to ZZ Top. And let me just say they do a pretty good job too of performing. And we find out that Doc has a very good rhythm. White man can dance. But unfortunately though, Marty gets in trouble with Buford 10, which looks a lot like Biff 10, played by the same actor, but he's like more Wild West slash uh, outlaw slash someone asshole, more scruffy and dirty and all that stuff, and he got the gangs too. So that makes it even more funny too. And he still got the intelligence of a mule, but that's beside the point. Marty decides instead of Calvin Klein, he wants to go by the name Clint Eastwood, which is really funny considering that I know who Clint Eastwood really is in real life, and I'm sure that they probably had to ask special permission from him to use the name. But Buford sets his sights on killing Clint Eastwood. Well, Clint Eastwood, and I think that this dance sequence and dance, tone could be a bridge between the first movies and the second movie. We did Enchantment Under the Dance, but in different setting and different stage and stuff like that. Later on, I should say the next night, when the plan is in motion about borrowing a locomotive for this time travel experiment, Doug realizes that he has to leave behind Clara, and that he can't tell her where he's going. But apparently, he got a little frisky with her, if you will. But she doesn't like that. She doesn't accept the answer that he's going to the future and all that. She slapped him across the face. Boy, I would really to be creative a lot on a day with multiple takes. But besides the point, he breaks her heart. And you find out the next day he's talking about it to some friends, of which Pat Bertram, the actor Pat Bertram, if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll get more into him later. But we find out that he spends hours talking to these people about the future and reminiscing about his love for Claire and all of that. But we find out that man hasn't been drinking anything. He's still holding the same shot of whiskey from the first night. But he ever since he began it, he'd been drinking the same. He didn't even drink the first glass. But we realize that once he does drink it, the man can't hold his liquor, and he faints, and he goes to sleep for about 20 minutes. So when when that happens, Marty has to have like a shootout with Buford Tenant, got the El Corral. But then we realize that Doug wakes up to time to start the the music and the shootout and stuff. So then Buford decides that to take out the Emmett instead of Clint Eastwood. So then Clint mans up and stuff, and then he goes and he tried to fight with Buford. After trying to talk him out of it and stuff, he go down a little west, south, high noon and stuff. And if you've ever seen the movie Fist for Dollars, you will definitely get where he comes from. He, Marty McFly puts a iron plate, a steel plate from a old kettle stove, underneath his poncho to try to and succeed at deflecting the bullet that Buford shoots at him. And he shocks him, and Buford tries to punch him, but it it doesn't work right. As you can imagine, that'd be terribly painful and probably crack a few bones or two, on an iron plate. So right afterwards, they borrow the locomotive to go back into the future, and then Clara realizes that she can't live without him, and she runs off with a horse and catches up with the train, and while they're trying to do this railroad experiment, and wouldn't you know it, Jim West was right. Something bad happens, and they have to rescue poor Clara on the train and stuff, and he does succeed in getting her off the train just before it goes boom boom, on a bridge. On an uncompleted part of a bridge, and he uses the hoverboard that Mike got from the future in 2015, the one that everyone was whining and complaining about. Mars succeeds in getting back to 1985, year of my birth, and the DeLorean gets hit by Diesel Super Chief, which is kind of ironic because he just used a train to get back into the future, but it's all destroyed. Why picks up his girlfriend that he left on a porch in movie 2. Lucky she was alright, so, and they go driving. They go to the crash site for the DeLorean, and they're amazed that it's destroyed, and Marty wishes that he could see the duck one more time. And now we're introduced to the time train. I'm gonna put that picture right here. Now I have to ask this question to anyone that wants to know, that knows the answer to it. But because of its mass and because of the speed that it would need to get up to go time traveling, is the time train more powerful than the DeLorean time machine? And because you can take a lot more mass with you, as far as Doug Brown introduced the two children and the dog, and Clara too, on the train. So they said the goodbyes. Time train takes off, by using the the hover pads that they have, and it's still pretty awesome. Okay, now next thing, time the history changes. Clint Eastwood's name is pretty much what you would expect to be. It's different. It's retconned, into a permission from the actual actor. The steampunk technology. You're trying to tell me that no one saw his Doug Brown's technology after he died or left or whatever the case is. Clara gets saved. There's a reason why it was called Clara Clayton Ravine. She was supposed to die in that ravine. And the mere presence of Marty and the dog in 1885 messes up the timeline, watch history. No, they're not supposed to be there. So that kind of messes that up a little bit, pretending with everybody else. The tombstone changes from Emmett Brown to Clint Eastwood. He realized Clint Eastwood, that's what it was right before the shootout. And then it eventually gets destroyed by Kenneth Thickhead. The accident warning that from Doug Brown to Marty during the course of the movie. Buford goes to jail with his gang. I don't know if that's meant to be from that or not, but it happened, and then the train goes kaboom in the ravine, which is renamed after Clint Eastwood. Okay, I guess they like to name things of the dead people, I guess. Knowledge of future events will change the events. Accident prevention will come with Marty McFly was supposed to get in an accident with Niels, aka Flea, from the band Red Hot Chili Peppers, but that's beside the point. Clark picture. In the Old West time, Doc and Marty take a picture with the old Clark face of the old Seagull Clark Tower. Now, in the original picture, just Doc, but because Marty was there when it was taken, the picture was shared for both of them. As you can tell, this movie was a western, and it was a relatively simple plot. Go back and rescue Doc. But it was a very beautiful setting for the story, and the western atmosphere was very brilliantly done. It was a nice change of pace from the futuristic stories of of 1 and 2, and it was very succinct too. And Dog's story, this movie was basically Dog's story. Doug Brown falling in love, Doug Brown doing this, Doug Brown doing that, Doug Brown rescuing it. But I find that because it does involve the McFlys, I do find it interesting that they did take like a little side step and focus on somebody else for a change. That was actually pretty good in here. Okay. Now, we realize that there are actually 4 different DeLoreans in this movie in 1955, the nifty 50s. And they are, count with me, Number one, and when he went back to the past in the first movie. That's number one. Number two is when Biff went back in time to 1955 using the DeLorean. Old Biff. Number three, when Marty and Doc Brown went back in time with the DeLorean in the 1955. And number four was when it discovered the old DeLorean in the abandoned mine shaft. Now, it's all the same DeLorean, but from different time periods. Now, Pat Buttram is a guy from the Aristocats cartoon. He's one of the voice actors. Now, I'm not a big Western buff. I like him, and I know that he's in there. He did like cameo as one of the people at the bar. You'll notice him when he talks like in a real high voice. Like, he's very distinctive. People who watch westerns will know who he is. And then you got the famous moonwalk that Marty does in the bar scene to avoid Buford getting, Buford shots and stuff. But then he gets on his nerves again by moonwalking and getting one of my spittoon things all over Buford. Like, he kicks up a board and stuff like that, and he ends up slamming one of the spittoons on him, and it pisses him off to no end. People know this, but Michael J. Fox actually almost died during this movie, during the making of this movie. There's a part where he's dragged behind horses and then hanged by Buford right after his little moonwalk stunt. Like right after he went back in time in the first place. Now, there were no dolls, there were no dummies, there were no dolls, there was no CG effects made during this part. It was all him. And yeah, he almost died in that and there. Poor thing too, because he's a very good actor. And I would like to meet him one day, along with Christopher Lloyd and Thomas Wilson and Liz Thompson. I'd like to meet all of them. Now, during this scene when the hang Marty, they have Doc Brown over there with like a old fashioned rifle, and then he has some enhancements on it for the vision, make a crude sniper scope out of glass and stuff. That's cool. He walks around like a badass guy that you would expect from anime or something like that. And just so he oozes awesomeness when he's in the scene. And during the dance sequence, you see the ZG Top, and they even made a music video for that called Double Back. Yeah, you can see on the special edition and the special behind the scenes of this movie. They got like deleted scenes, they got the double back video. Yeah, the scene is a little dated and stuff, but it's still pretty cool to see it. And then you get to see ZG Top and something other than the theme song for the Dynasty. And also, this is part of the movie where they say they're reversing. So the Doc says it's heavy, and Marty says, Great Scott, which I think it's funny, clever. And, okay, I have nothing against seeing a man's ass, but do we really have to see Michael J. Fox's ass? I mean, you don't see a full disclosure, thank God, but there's a part in the movie where we see part of it showing out of a pajama hole, from the old long john pajamas, and I just don't want to see that on the man. I just don't. I really don't. I like this quote. Clint Eastwood is a coward in the movie. They were talking about him not going out to see Buford and getting shot and stuff. And then we're just saying that, if you don't go out, you'll be burned a yellow belly for the rest of your life. Clint Eastwood is no coward. I don't think he is. In the movie, after Buford goes into shit, which, if you see the movie, he goes into shit. It's a different chef than Strickland, and later seen it shown that Buford actually shoots Strickland in the back while he's riding away. But that was too dark for the movie, so they they took it out. But they kept it on the lead scene. Now, the trains are cool. The time period is cool. The technology is cool. I like the old-fashioned locomotives. They were awesome. And I gotta admit, if it wasn't a stunt double for Mary Steenburgen, that's the woman's name who plays Clark Clayton, when she was doing this stunt with the the train there and the skirt and with the old-fashioned period dress and the boots. That takes guts. I'm sorry, that takes real serious guts to do that kind of stuff with the fancy boots and stuff. I commend her or her stunt double for it. And the scenes were actually pretty good. It were actually really well done. Really good train scenes and stuff. The train part was cool, especially when it went over the edge of the ravine and into the ravine because the bridge wasn't completed yet. That was awesome. Go boom boom. And after he goes back to 1985, and it does make a very fitting conclusion to the movie. These things are masterpieces, and there's a scene where it ends actually really closes out the scene really nicely. And they even have the Needles cameo too. The flea might be the flea is back there from number 2. So that makes 2 movies that he's in. And it's implied that they're best friends for life and all that. Now, after I put down that it's a theme conclusion and closure to all the movies. Now, for the legacy aspect of this thing, it was a delight to watch these movies. Just do me a favor, don't try to analyze it. You will go insane. And this video is going along than I would have liked it to go. Well, but I gotta say, these movies, this trilogy, and the DeLorean will forever be time travel icons. They are more iconic than the actual Time Machine book by H.G. Wells or the movie by, I think, his son Simon. There is no, I can't think of any other movie called that's iconic with time travel. I can't think of anything else with time travel, period, in this movie. Need things. Whenever you think of the DeLorean, you automatically think of time travel. Whenever you think of any other character, you automatically think of time travel. There's many pieces of artwork associated with these movies, including the picture that I got for my thumbnail, which I will be inserting here for you to look at right here. There's also much merchandise and toys, Hot Wheels cars, games, all kind of other things to do with this game, this trilogy. And they also made an animated TV show, which is basically what happens to Doc and Clara and their kids, Jules and Vern, and the dog Einstein, as they go traveling through time in a time train vehicle. I never watched the show, but I heard that's pretty good. Now, they also made a video game for the series of video games, for the series of movies, for the NES. I only played the first one. Let me tell you, I will not be doing it on my channel because I got PTSD from it. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. I hated it. It was ugly. The game was pathetic, and it was stupid. But if you want to get a real good review of it and see footage of it and stuff, I recommend you go to the Angry Video Game Nerds video on it, and you'll see how horrible this game is. Anyway, they also made a Back to the Future 4 video game, which is actually designed to be right after this trilogy, and the person that they got to voice Marty McFly sounds just like Matt called J Fox, but it's not him, and they never met. But I haven't played the game. It looks good, but I haven't played it. It's for the PC, but I don't do those games. There's also a game mod for Grand Theft Auto 4, in which somebody was able to put in a time traveling DeLorean in the game, and it was like pretty cool. Now, there's thousands, if not millions, of fans of these trilogies, of this trilogy, and one was my ex vice president. His name was Ed, and he used to be the vice president of the club that I used to be president of. It's called STAC, Student Achievement Challenges at Southern College. We had like a Back to the Future type of he did like a Back to the Future type float for it. I think with his he became president after me, so I think that that he did like a Back to the Future type float, and his father owned a DeLorean, and so he got to be in the DeLorean for a parade on campus. So there are thousands of cars that go up to like car shows and stuff. Now I would be lying if I said I didn't like it. I love the DeLorean car. I wouldn't drive one, but I like it. And also, they have the ride, Back to the Future ride, Universal Studios in Florida. That was the shit. That ride was awesome. I loved it. It was so good. Especially because I could ride twice if I wanted to. Because I'm disabled. It was great. The story was unique. I think that Biff was told time machine. He would go through time and stuff. And you had to quote unquote bump him through different time periods. And it was really good. It was one of the simulation rides where you sit down, and then you watch a big view screen, and then and then hydraulics move you around and stuff from underneath your sitting position, and which is great. I do have a funny story to go along with that, and I'll be quick about it. I'll be quick about it this time. When I was young, my mother had like one of those safety alarms in your pocketbook, and whenever you shake it around, it like beeps real loud. And my mother was worried that somebody would try to steal it back in the theme park, so she got one of those devices, and during the ride, it jostled us around and stuff. It made us crash and stuff, and into stuff and things like that. This thing went off. All you hear is a big siren and stuff, and everybody, including me and my mother and I, we thought that this siren, this noise, was part of the ride, and we realized that it was the security beacon that my mom bought. So there's that, and it was replaced. Yeah, guess what? Guess by what? I'll give you a hint. Yellow people. Yep, that's right. It was replaced by the Simpsons ride. God damn, do I hate that. I mean, this is an iconic ride. Why the hell did they replace it by something so stupid, by a cartoon ride? I mean, I never rode it myself. Is it good? I want to ask you, was it good? Was it bad? I don't know. I just think that it was bullshit. This iconic ride that was inspired by these movies was a political cartoon ride. And I gotta say, I adore these movies. I recommend them to anyone that likes sci-fi, comedy, action, DEs, really cool movies. I recommend 1, 2, and 3. Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. These movies are awesome. They are great. they're beloved by so many people, including myself. But you have to watch them in order to understand anything. You know, in the Ant-Man, the Higgins, the scuffle between Biff and George Fly, the misunderstanding between him and Marty, his long-standing hatred of those people, the anti-bullying, you have to understand, you have to watch the whole trilogy from beginning to end. And with all the reboots going on of classic movies, do I think that they should reboot this one? I'll give you a two-word answer to that. Hell no. These movies, they have the flaws, but they're already better than if someone tried to reboot them, because they're pretty much already perfect. There's nobody, and I mean nobody, can even do these things justice by rebooting them. I don't care if you're Spielberg again or if you're anybody else, you can't redo these movies. The classics. And then the best part, one of the best parts of the 80s. And not only that, but they're iconic. Oh, you mentioned Back to the Future, I think it'd be pretty much like having a terrorism on movies. That's what it is. It'd be terrorism on movies. You can't possibly get away with anything like that. So I thank you very much for enjoying my birthday video with me talking about these wonderful, wonderful movies and their influence. I appreciate it. Going on rants about something that's my age. I know I'm an old fart now, but I still enjoy talking about old movies. So I spent over an hour and a half talking about them. So thank you for watching that movie with me. Doing that video with me. I've been on this planet for 30 years, like these movies. And I only learned one thing about planet Earth. I don't want to live here anymore. No, I'm not going suicidal or anything. I just don't want to live on the planet anymore. I want to ask you guys, does anybody want to go and move to Earth? Does anybody want to share a condo on Mars or Jupiter or one of the moons of Jupiter? I got an idea. Let me see what it's like on Uranus. I'm very good. I'll do your taxes. That'd be fun to do. Hang out together on Uranus. Anyway, I enjoy talking about this for my birthday month of June. Is big. My dream for my birthday would involve bubble paper, bubble wrap, and my scooter and the cat for some reason. But I have to. I also have to talk about these two movies because they are awesome. So thank you for enjoying my birthday video. So, 30 years of these movies. Yay! You call. And 30 years on this planet. I invite you guys to watch many other videos and many more to come too. I also invite you guys to join my Project Maelstrom Productions Facebook group and join me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Maelstrom Pro. That's Maelstrom Pro on Twitter. And if you like what you hear, you want to see more of me, my comments and my videos and commentary on stuff, you can subscribe to my channel using the red button on the views underneath the view screen. So I would go on talking about these movies, but I'm